Today I will be teaching you how to play 41. So the first thing you have to know about 41 is how to play the game. So when you first start the game, you don't start playing like you grab each card and like other card games. You actually first in the first thing, somebody will give you 3 cards in 31. And then you would have to get to the number 31 with your 3 cards. And then you would have to keep taking the cards and you're supposed to have 3 and you can't have any more. So you would have to take one away and put it back on the side here. And the biggest goal about 31 is you have to make it to 31 with only 3 cards, because you could get an ace, which looks like this. There's the A there because it starts with an ace. Because it starts with an A like ace. These little characters there on the side underneath it, these are actually called clovers. Like the clovers you see for St. Patrick's Day, except they're colored in black. Those are the clovers. Like if you were collecting clovers, you would want this. And you would want this ace, because the ace actually worth 11 points. And 11 points is a big number, so this is very important. If you got this is still gonna be 11 points, except it's there and underneath is a different character. This time it's diamonds. So if you're collecting diamonds, you would want this. And this is another clover one. Even though it's a lower number doesn't mean it's something different. It's still clovers, except it's a lower number. On the top it shows how much it worth. It worth 5. And here, like this one, it has 7. Except for this one, 11, they instead put an A because ace means kind of like 11. This game is called 31 because your goal technically is also to get 30 points. And the points are how much you get on each card. Like if you saw 7, that would be 7 points. And if you have a good hand, like if you had 30, then if I were you, I would probably knock. You don't have to go on the door. You wouldn't have to walk to the door and knock. You could just knock on the table like this, see? And then sometimes you would be done with the game and you would show your cards to everybody. And not just you would show your cards, but everybody would show their cards. And you would be done with the game and you would say how much you got. For a little kid, you wouldn't just say it. You would actually have to add it up. So that's why to make it easier, they kind of put the 5 so you know which number and you won't have to count these little things here. But for the ace, it's a little bit tricky. You would have to know the game because the ace only shows 1, but it's actually 11. So that one's a little bit trickier. The ace would be a little bit trickier if you're a beginner. But if you studied 31 for a long time, you would know how how to play the game and how much these worth. So that's 11, and also I have to, oh, and if you see this is actually called a heart. And if you see the picture there of this queen, it looks like, then that would mean it worth 10 points, almost like 11, but a little bit more. And also, inside the game, there's one thing. When you would get your cards and you wouldn't show them to other people. You won't do this when you're playing. You would actually want to keep it to yourself so the person who's playing the game with you wouldn't know what you're collecting. And then they will collect the same thing maybe, and then they'll take the cards you need away. So that's why sometimes I would like to figure out somebody's hand. You're not allowed to look at their hand, but you can still figure it out. Like if you saw if you put a card down and if they grabbed it, that would mean they're collecting maybe hearts, maybe clovers, maybe diamonds. And you wouldn't want to collect the same thing, or else they would take the thing. They would take the cards away that you would really need. And also, if you see the 10, also if they're like clovers like this, they would actually still worth 10, like the 10 points I showed you earlier. They would still worth 10. Here you can see it again. See that picture? If it was something else, like clovers here, it would still worth 10 points, even though it's something else. It would still worth the same amount. And not just that, but in the game, you shouldn't look at the other people's cards either, because that's not just doing something wrong for you or anything, but it's also cheating inside the game. And now I'm going to tell you some things that you shouldn't do inside the game. Like you just said, you shouldn't look at somebody's cards. That's the first one you shouldn't do. And you also, when you shuffle, when you pick your cards, you have to just pick random cards. Which random means like any kind of card. You can't like look at it and see if it's a good card. Like this 6, this wouldn't be that good, but still you can't look, and then you would have to keep going with them. That's also something that's cheating too, because if you do that, then it wouldn't be fair. So you can't like take something, like you can't like choose the ones, like you can't take an ace, which worth 11 points. That's really good, but you still can't take that because that would technically be cheating. So that's something that you wouldn't want to happen, because if they had a good hand, they would just win, and it wouldn't be fair for you, and you wouldn't be happy either. So that's why you have to play by those rules. And not just that, but you also have to play fair, like the other rule I just showed you. And something really good you should do is if you have like more than like if you had this 10 and you had this 5, you should go with the 10. The bigger number you should go with. If you see a bigger number, then you should go with that. And in the game, you also, just a quick reminder, I'm also going to tell you that you can only have 3 cards, and the ones, and don't And this time you shouldn't pick random ones to take away. You should take away the lowest card that you don't need. So let's say that I have something like, let's say I have 11 points. See, and I have 4 points. I would take away the 4 instead of the 11 points because 11 is bigger than 4. So I would keep the 11 and keep going with those, and I would collect more of the same things until I get to 31. Those are some good tips that you have to know when you're playing this game. These tips wouldn't be in other games like maybe like normal games you would play by yourself. They shouldn't be in these. Rules won't be in those ones. And that's everything. I hope you like it. Bye. And now I'm going to play a game with my brother to show you how the games work and how, like, the order of which rule goes in where.
And when you play 31, each person gets 3 cards, and whoever suffers, that person can't go first. Instead, the other person goes first. It's my sister's turn now.
So let's say, like, here I have a 5 and a 9 and a 5 and of here. So I have a lot here of clovers, and I have a little, and I only have like 5 here, and my hearts. And here in the game, I see this. So I would take this, and I would take the 5 away. So now I would probably be going with this 10 and the 5 instead of these clovers.
And also, when you start the game, you put 1 card down. And if you get like 3 of the same, something like 3, 5, you can knock because you got 30. And now we're going to start a game.
So let's get started.
Okay.
Your turn, I think. Yeah, it's your turn. So now I'm going to pick a card.
And you shouldn't show your opponent
pile.
what you are collecting. Or else your opponent can knock and can maybe win.
So now it's going to be my turn, and I'm going to pick 1 card from this pile, not this one here. Then I'll pick a card. And I see this ace. Remember, this was 11 points. So instead of this, I would take this and take the 5 away. It's okay if you're still thinking of which ones would be, of which, like if you're going to go with clovers or hearts. It's okay if you're still thinking. You can see how the game would go first. So now it's going to be my turn again. And this I don't need because I don't have any of these. So I'll just put this back in this pile.
And now it's my turn. And if you get 3 aces, you could actually get 4, like 30, and then you can knock.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this one. And you should, if you get like a card that you really need, you should put in the lowest card back in.
Okay, so now it's going to be my turn again. I'll pick a card and see this, but I don't have any of these, remember. So I'll just put this back in this pile to see if someone else would want it.
And now I need 1 more ace. And then after that, I could knock and I could possibly win of getting 30. But if you knock and your opponent has the same amount as you, your opponent wins.
So you see I have this again, and I have this 10 too. So I'll probably go back with the hearts because that's a lot. So I would take away the 9 and put it aside. And also sometimes I would, if I'm not using this card, then I would put it like this because I'm not using it. And I would hold up the cards that I'm using. So it's your turn, Parker.
And now I have this free spade, and it's a really low card, and you see I don't have any spades, so I should really
you're
throw
not
it.
looking for it, right?
Yeah, so I should throw it in the pile where I don't need it.
Here, this I don't need either, so I would put this aside here. Now it's my turn, and I'll pick this card because I'm going with the hearts, and this is a heart, so I would pick this card, and I'd put this card aside in that pile because I'm not using it.
And now remember, I'm gonna get 3 aces. I have 2 out of 3 aces, so I should get that one from that pile.
And then after that, you
Can knock when it's your turn.
But it's my turn, so you cannot knock.
And when you knock, you can't go and the other player can go. Now I can knock, and now my other opponent can go one more time, and then we saw our cards down.
Yeah, like when we show our cards down, we just put them down like this. So it's my turn.
And whoever has a higher score wins.
And I put this aside because I'm not using it.
Okay, I got 40.
And I got 30.
Okay, I won.
You got 30, right?
I got 40. Okay, well, bye-bye for now.
So, bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.